And welcome back to the Gaily Digest. I am Nigel.
And I'm Joshua. Was that quick enough?
Still a bit of a delay, and I saw you put your phone down.
Oh, I give up.
You need to be poised and ready when we're doing this. But yes, welcome back, and we have got another packed episode for you this week. We will be talking about some LGBTQ plus representation in TV shows in conversation. Josh has his usual weekly moan, or two, as it may be, and and yeah, all our usual stuff that we like to talk about in this episode. So, without further ado, let's crack on with the show. Let's start with some news. News that we found this week, Josh, or something that's come up in the last week or so, is the row, isn't it? The council has been challenged about a road crossing. It's the Camden Council have been challenged by a woman called Blessing Olabanjo over a crossing that has been painted in the trans pride flag colours. She's called on the local council to remove 4 road crossings painted on the transgender colours, complaining they infringe on her rights as a Christian. And how long have these crossings been in place?
A very, very, very long time.
4 years. 4 years, and they're complaining now. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, how do they infringe on her rights as a Christian? I'm not quite sure on that.
Well, it doesn't, does it? But she's infringing on everyone else's rights because she's a Christian. But as I always say, there is no love like Christian hate.
You do say that quite a lot. But yeah, it's so she's a resident of Camden. She's threatening to bring legal challenge against what she calls unlawful political messaging. Again, I'm not sure how it's unlawful political messaging. The council responded by saying it's a visual statement to help celebrate transgender awareness and act as a reminder of the rich LGBTQ plus history and daily life in the Bloomsbury area and across Camden. Miss Olabanjo, who is a member of the Christian People's Alliance Party, or CPAP, she said that she had sent a pre-action letter to the council, and unless the road crossings were removed or repainted, she would bring a judicial review proceeding, which would decide if the council followed the correct legal procedures and acted within its powers. Now, it's interesting because there's so many pride crossings, isn't there, throughout the country? And this one person is, I think she's the first one. Is she the first one to try and bring legal action against the council?
Probably because she's got all the church money, all them tax-free money behind her to pay for it all. I can just see you smirking at my comments.
I'm cringing at your comments.
Say how it is.
Yes. Oh, that's one thing I do admire about you. But yeah, she says that she goes on to say that she argues that the crossings are breaches of equality and safety obligations and a violation of laws prohibiting political publicity by local authorities. I mean, I don't recall if there were any laws about that. I mean, to me, that sounds a bit like Section 28. If I'm honest. So her legal team has cited a section of the Local Government Act 1986, which prohibits councils from publishing material that appears to promote a political party or a politically controversial viewpoint. And this goes into the thing where we're always saying that pride is not political. It's to protest. It's they're saying that they're trying to argue that the crossing is a publication. Well, it's not a publication at all. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. A flag isn't a publication, is it? Am I wrong?
No, but yeah, this is the problem with these types of Christians because they're not all like this. They don't want to help the poor. They don't want to feed the starving. They don't want to help the homeless. They just want to put all their energy into getting upset over some paint in a road because that's the real issue in the world. helping us get those zebra crossings back to being black and white. That's how we're gonna solve world hunger and help everybody.
True. Very true. Very true. Um, but yeah, so that is Blessing. She is getting very upset about a transgender flag crossing that's been in place since 2021, 4 years. And I mean, I'd be interested to know what other people think of that. So, if you've got thoughts on it and you want to let know your thoughts on it, I'm sure your thoughts are probably going to be something along the lines of what Josh has brought up and mentioned. But yeah, let us know. It's now time for us to have a chat because it's now in conversation. Something we've wanted to do for a while, I think, is talk about LGBTQ plus representation in TV, or in the media in general. But something that's kind of crossed our minds on that is, I think we're in agreement on this. That's quite a big thing to cover in a little topic as part of In Conversation. So we're going to try and break it down. And I wanted to talk about I wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about a show that I've been rewatching recently. And it's a show that I grew up watching, not originally, but repeats, I might add. It's a classic comedy, and I absolutely adore it. I would agree, it's not very politically correct these days. It's very representative of its time. But it is in my view an absolute classic comedy. Do you know what I'm talking about, Josh?
I do, because you play it every time you're here. I'll hear the till ringing sound at the start of each episode. Am I
Yes.
right?
Yes, it's Are You Being Served? I don't know. I mean, any of our listeners that might have watched it or might not have watched it, you can watch it on, if you've got Now TV, you can watch it on Now TV, or you can watch it on the catch up streaming for You and Gold. Obviously, the episodes that they've put out on there have been cut to an extent, to take out some of the very unpolitically correct aspects of it. But yeah, it's a comedy that I've kind of grown up watching, and it's quite a camp comedy, and it does have a gay character in it, even though it's not specifically said that he's gay. All the inferences and a lot of the jokes do point to him, and the innuendos do point to him being gay. And I think it's done. I think it's done in quite a sensitive way. It's done quite cleverly. What I mean, you've watched it with me, Josh, from time to time. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it is a brilliant show. I like sitcoms in general. I think with the older sitcoms, I think they have a comedy in them that you don't really get nowadays. And plus, back then there was actually quite a lot of LGBT representation in shows, like subtly, but no one had an issue with it because that was a very popular, huge show. It went on for quite a long time, and nobody really had an issue with this character. But yeah, I agree with you. It's very subtly done. Never really confirms it, but everybody seems to know. But it is he's very camp. Very like it is very stereotypical, yes, but it's very, very, very camp.
But you say it was stereotypical. He was. I mean, the actor himself was quite camp like that anyway. I don't think he overacted that role. I think he owned the role. And he kind of played himself to an extent. Obviously, the character we're referring to is Mr. Humphreys from Are You Being Served, and played by John Inman, who is sadly no longer with us. He passed away quite a number of years ago. But he played and owned that iconic role, and it's a role that they tried to they tried to recreate it as part of a BBC pilot where they tried to recreate or reinvent some previous classic comedies for the modern day, and Are You Being Served was one of them, where they had John Challis playing Captain Peacock, who was Boise in Only Fools and Horses, and Sherry Hewson playing Mrs. Slocum, and you had the guy, I think he was I can't remember his name, I can't remember his name, Ian something, I think, but he played Mr. Humphreys. I think he was in that Sky One show Trolleyed, was it? He played Mr. Humphreys. Now, there is no way he mimicked that role at all. He didn't own it. But you had all your characters in Are You Being Served in the classic. You had Mrs. Slocum, who was the senior salesperson in the ladies' department, and she played by Molly Sugden. And you had Miss Brahms, who was played by Pauline Fowler of all people. Wendy Richards.
Common as muck in the show.
She was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Captain Peacock, who was played by Frank Thornton. Obviously, Mr. Humphreys, we talked about. Mr. Lucas, who was the boyish, cheeky junior salesperson, played by Trevor Bannister. You had Cuthbert Rumbold, Mr. Rumbold, who was played by Nicholas Smith, who was the manager of the department. You had Arthur Brow, who played Mr. Granger, who was the original senior salesperson on the men's department, and it was each of the characters they played off each other, and it was a really, really camp comedy, and like I say, I keep going back to why this sort of links in with our community, with the LGBT community, and that's because of Mr. Humphreys, who was quite a significant role. And I remember watching a documentary once with the writers and the creators of Are You Being Served? Now, very little known fact here, but Mr. Humphreys nearly didn't make it into the show because they pitched the show, they sold the show to the BBC and said, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to do it. And it was actually a senior person within the BBC that basically said, yep, you've got a show on one condition. And they said, you need to get rid of the puff. Now, I'm sorry for using that language, people, but that is the language that was used in the time. And fair play to the creators of Are You Being Served? They said no. He makes that show, and they went ahead and made the pilot, and it was a success. It was an overnight hit, and a lot of that was thanks to them standing their ground and proving the BBC senior manager wrong by saying that this is a character that we want to represent, we want to put out there because it's representative of society.
I can't imagine that show without his character.
100%.
I'm not sure it would have worked at all, actually, because I think he added completely, like, his character is on another level. Like him and Miss Slocum are my favourites. Their personalities are just on another plane compared to any other character, and I think without those characters, it would have been very boring. I think very quickly. I don't know how long that story could have gone on.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is, I mean, like I say, the fact that the creator and the writers basically said, no, we're not getting rid of him. He's staying in the show. The character is staying because it will work, and it did work. And like you say, people didn't bat an eyelid. People loved it. People loved the character. People loved the show, and each of the characters brought their own little qualities to it. And they all played off each other, I mean, there was a lot of bantering and bickering between Mr. Lucas and Mrs. Slocum. Because he was the cheeky one,
Kind of
and
like
he was often
you,
making.
always going for her age. What you do to me.
But yeah, and like I say, I mean, for those that haven't watched it, do give it a go. You might cringe at some of the jokes, like I do now. Um, but for the most part, it's a camp show. It's fun, and I think it helped pave the way for representation on television. And this was a character that stayed. I mean, he was practically in every episode. He was in every single episode of Are You Being Served from the day it started up until the day it finished, and that was all 10 seasons. So that was 10 years worth of. I think it was a bit longer. I think it was about 11 or 12 years because I think they had a bit of a hiatus between a couple of the series. Um, but for a character like that to be so successful and to be so popular and to become a firm family favorite kind of shows that kind of representation in TV back then at a time when homosexuality was quite a taboo subject and people didn't like it being out there and people were quiet about it. But for that to be on mainstream TV, I can't remember what day of the week it went. I think it might have been either early week or towards the end. I think it might have been Thursdays it went out on BBC One. But BBC One, the main channel, the main TV channel as well. And for it to be such a success, I think it's a great example of LGBTQ plus representation in TV. It's that time again, which is, I think, a lot of people's favourite time of the show. Certainly Josh's, because it's the chance that he gets to be a moany old bitch, as usual. And I'm getting death stares again.
One of these
Oh.
days. One of these days.
Bring it on, bring it on. So yes, it's now time for the complaints closet, where we will talk about our little moans of the week and what really bothers us, and it'll mostly go with a bit of a funny style. It usually does with Josh, to be fair.
Yeah, it does. It's a skill. It's a talent. It's a gift.
It's certainly something. Who went first last time? I can't remember. Was it me? I went first last time, didn't I? Or did you?
You're asking me, of all people, to remember something that happened longer than 2 hours ago. I don't know. No idea.
Shall I go first then?
Sure.
Okay, so this week, my complaint is when you're talking about something, you get those people that jump in and hijack what you're talking about.
Is that a dig at me at the last complaints closet?
Not just the last one, the last two where you've hijacked my complaint. There I am. It's like what was it the last one where I was moaning about movie credits. Yeah,
I didn't.
credits at the beginning of the movie, and then I'm talking about it, I'm moaning about it, and what do? You step in and go, yep, 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 and then you start rattling off all your moans about it.
I didn't hijack it. I added to it. I added
didn't.
to it.
I think your words were, and I'm sure if people listen back to that episode, they'll hear that you actually did say, "I'm hijacking your complaint here."
Well, that was just I misspoke.
But yeah, it's that whole thing of when you can be talking about a topic and people will just hijack it and they'll take over the conversation, and everything you wanted to say gets said by them. Everything you wanted to highlight or raise, they take over, and you just sit there and you think, I was going to say that. I was going to do that.
I often think this when you talk on here as well. Stealing things I'll write a note down, and by the time I've written that one sentence, then you say it, and then I have to rub it out. And then I'm like, okay, right, next one.
Yeah, but that's not me interrupting you and then sort of taking over the conversation of what we're talking about, is it?
Details.
It's facts. It's facts. But yeah, that's my moan this week.
I've
I've
got
got
to
that off
try.
my chest.
I
I've got it
have.
off my chest. I've had my moan about you now. So and
Oh, so it was
I've got.
about me.
You said, "Is this a dig about me?" And I didn't deny it. I didn't lie.
Yeah, you just confirmed it. Well, honestly, my list is growing daily, and it's really difficult to pick one of
I
them.
think I think I've been added several times.
Oh, there's like 8 of you. But then I'll find better ones, and then I'm like, oh, can I do this? So this time I'm going to talk about news articles. I know
Right. Should this
everyone's
not be
wondering.
for the news?
No, everyone's wondering why. Now we're quite tuned in with the news. I read a lot of news and articles and things like that. And my issue with news articles is whenever I click one, I don't know what's happened the last few years, but you cannot view these articles anymore. There's videos that pop up in the middle of the paragraphs, and then you scroll past the video and you press the little X, and then a pop-up comes up or it links you somewhere else, and or you'll read halfway down and then it'll refresh and pop you back to the top, or there's a paywall halfway down. And I'm getting sick of these articles of all these ads and all these videos. And I saw one the other day, and I felt my body heat up. I was that angry. It was really irritating me because it was something I wanted to read, and it had about 8 videos every 8 lines. So it's just in the middle of the paragraphs. There was just a video for an advert, and then when you try and scroll past the video moves. So then the video is constantly playing at the top. So I'm trying to read this article, and there's some stupid advert playing above it that you can't get rid of. And I'm over it. I'm done. So now it just makes me not want to read news articles because it's just constant ads and stupid little clips and things popping up, or paywalls asking me to pay money to read the news. And it's like, oh, these so it could be something that you genuinely want to read, that's like a health thing, that's like a safety thing and all this, and then they make you pay to see it, and I'm like, well, I'm not paying that, so now I might die, who knows. I'm not going to read it.
At least it'll stop you moaning.
I'm
Getting on
just
best there,
I'm
everyone.
just going to jot down another line of Nigel.
But I agree with what you mean there. It's the whole thing of, you get those little pop-ups and there's that little X in the top corner of the pop-up and you think, right, I'm going to press that so I can get rid of it. But no, you press it because it's so small. You press the video, which takes you to another page, takes you to another link, and it's like, no, I didn't want that. So you try to go back to the article, and then you can't get back to the article easily enough, or you're scrolling down the article, and because you scroll down it to try and avoid all the videos, the page goes blank. Do you get that?
Yeah, and then when you try and go back to the article, it's disappeared, it doesn't exist, it's fell into the void. You can never read them words ever again.
Yeah.
It's honestly,
And
I don't understand why they do this, because surely that puts people off reading them, because I just want to read the article, but now I can't. I've basically got a full length movie in between all these paragraphs reading a
it's
bloody
because
article.
it's because when they publish their articles online, they're not being paid for it. So they have to they either throw in a load of ads so they get revenue from the ads, or if you don't want the ads, you subscribe and pay for the articles, which then means you've then got to pay so they get the revenue that way. That's why they do it.
Yeah,
And
but it's
yeah,
not
I agree
even
with you.
like one ad though. It's
It's
like
frustrating.
15.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and that maybe just minimize the amount of ads.
It's just so
It's
obnoxious. There's ads everywhere. They're on everything. Everywhere you go, there's an ad. It's triggering. That should have been my complaint. Ads in general. I'm getting triggered by ads. They are everywhere. You can't even get a bloody. You can't even buy like a can of pop now because it'll print your receipt and there's a fucking ad on that. And oh, I had a receipt print the other day. And it's like, oh, this new fairy liquid. I'm like, why is there an ad on my receipt? So ads in general. Actually, I'm going to change it. It's ads in general. I'm sick of them. They're everywhere. Too many
you
ads.
can't change it. You've had one moan, now you're having another moan.
I just did. And now you're moaning about me changing my moan. So now you've done too. So
And sadly, that is all we've got time for this week. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. I certainly have. Have you, Joshua?
I have indeed.
You sound it. You sound absolutely fucking thrilled.
Everyone should know by now that I sound the same, whether I'm excited, sad, or overjoyed. I always sound the same. So just get used to it. Deal with it. That's just me.
But yes, thank you for joining us this week. We hope you've enjoyed it. We will put my teeth back in.
That's what happens when you get old. They start falling out.
Fuck off. Anyway, we hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for joining us this week and the little blooper there as well. Until next time, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Until then, stay safe and be happy.